Hi, my name is Aditya and I am the CEO of Automaski. Today I'm going to be talking about the ultimate secret of interstellar travel, which is a topic of science fiction which has fascinated mankind for a couple of decades now. And I'm going to show you if it is possible or not possible. If possible, then how is it possible? So let's get started. But before that, a little bit about Automaski. We've been working on complexity theory since late 80s. We solved P is equal to NP in early 90s, got into quantum physics in mid 90s, and within a few years realized this universe is a simulation, and that too a linear order simulation. And that implementing physics won't require of the order of 2 to the power 3n complexity, but rather order n complexity, which is linear complexity. We had developed a rudimentary quantum computer a few years later, but only in 2014 when there were massive publications we figured out which gates to implement and what algorithms to benchmark and test with. Hence, we implicitly achieved quantum supremacy in early 2015 by virtue of having created the most powerful quantum computer in the world, which was theoretically perfect and worked on infinite precision. 2 years back, we simulated quantum gravity with a billion qubits. 6 months back, we publicly launched our RSA 2048 cracking service available for anyone who cares to pay money and use it. Till then, it was available only to Department of Defenses and agencies around the world behind closed doors. And today we are working on our quantum gravity computer based on causaloid formalism. Again, the core quantum gravity computer has been ready for years now. We've been playing with it and trying incremental changes. Just that we don't know how to make use of it because there is nothing published or available out there which shows how something like a quantum gravity computer can be used to solve real world problems. A small piece of advisory, please proceed with caution. If this presentation goes against your belief system, then please ignore this presentation, stop the video and focus on things you are passionate about. If you are respectful and polite, I would love to answer any questions you might have or listen to your thoughts. Feel free to email info@automaski.com. Now, what is the problem with interstellar travel? We have to cross light years of deep space to reach other stars and galaxies. There is no heat or light or any form of energy source in deep space. We obviously cannot carry enough fuel to reach a far off destination and come back with enough to spare for emergencies. This is assuming that humans can survive space travel, which is another topic for a debate for another time. But then, how are we going to travel in deep space? And can we travel fast enough to reach a destination like Proxima Centauri, which is 4.25 light years away, in one lifetime and come back in one lifetime? Or better, can we go and come back in under a year or two, which means traveling at speeds comparable or above the speed of light? So, contrary to popular belief, we found a source of energy in deep space, in the fabric of space itself. Contrary to popular belief, deep space is not a complete void. It has a field, and this field works like a harmonic oscillator. You'll ask me, what is that? It is known in the scientific community that the only one thing required to explain almost the entire universe is harmonic oscillators. Let me tell you what they are. If you have a spring and it expands and contracts, it oscillates, which means it does this in a periodic motion. It is basically a harmonic oscillator. What is the meaning of word harmonic? Forget what it means. It is a term used by, scientists for harmonic motion, but what it means is that the spring is moving back and forth in a repeated motion. Something like this is a harmonic oscillator, something like a pendulum which oscillates between the center to the side and then to the other side is also a harmonic oscillator. It is believed that this entire universe is simply made of harmonic oscillators. Everything we see from atoms to molecules to electrons to protons, photons, everything are basically can be modeled just by harmonic oscillators. And contrary to popular belief, this is not a very strange idea. It has been used in physics a lot and in engineering. We already use harmonic oscillators in quantum computing because Like I said, we can model quantum physics in terms of harmonic oscillators, quantum harmonic oscillators. But harmonic oscillators are otherwise ignored at large, in engineering and other applications. So on my left, you can see that there are two harmonic oscillators which are coupled to each other. This coupling causes a dampening, slowing down, or not slowing down in some mechanism synchronizing their periodicity. These kind of coupled harmonic oscillators are already used as a model for entanglement, which is quantum entanglement, to solve optimization problems. Purdue is already trying to use it to build a poor man's quantum computer. And Automaski is actively exploring coupled harmonic oscillators and harmonic oscillators in general for general purpose computing. Have you heard this song, London Bridge is Falling Down, London Bridge is Falling Down, My Fair Lady? In the last century, mankind learned the hard way that soldiers marching on a bridge can cause the bridge to resonate with a resonant frequency, which is so strong that it can cause entire huge steel bridges to collapse. And now, what is happening, here? Basically, there are two things at play here. There is a driver, which is a harmonic oscillator, which is shaking the bridge, which is usually the wind. um or it is usually the marching of soldiers, etc. And then there is a target, which is also a harmonic oscillator, which can pick up the driver's frequency and synchronize with it. And then the target starts resonating with exponential increases in energy. You see the graph on the left at the bottom. Once synchronized, once the driver and target get synchronized, the target starts oscillating with ever increasing uh, energies, and which eventually leads to mechanical failure and rupture or destruction of the bridge. Such is the power of harmonic oscillators and resonant frequencies. Now, if you are in deep space and you are in the Star Trek Enterprise, so let us use our earlier terms and analogies to understand how this will work. So basically, deep space is basically the driver. It is a harmonic oscillator. There is a field in deep space, which is the harmonic oscillator. The StarTech Enterprise is basically the target. It also has harmonic oscillators in its engine compartment, one or more. When these engine compartment harmonic oscillators are switched on, they start synchronizing with the driver, which is the field in the deep space. And then the engine harmonic oscillators produce massive, massive, massive acceleration for the StarTech Enterprise, just like that, out of thin air, out of thin vacuum. So that is how it is supposed to work. Further, such harmonic oscillator engines can be used to generate acceleration for the spaceship and also electricity and energy for the spaceship to power its systems and sustain life. It can also be used to make a force field for the spaceship using a slightly similar but convoluted reverse design. And the energy produced by harmonic oscillator engines can be used to produce military grade lasers. So basically, it looks like that Star Trek would come to life. But we call this infinite energy. And we also know this was Nikola Tesla's secret mental model or secret theory of generating infinite electricity out of thin air. Though I would have to admit, which many won't, that Nikola was slightly confused about how to go about implementing it with last century's technology. His idea was correct, but he was struggling towards the end of his life to bring it to fruition. Now, this sounded very simple, right? I mean, everything is a harmonic oscillator, and then there is a resonant energy, and you can capitalize on it, blah, blah, blah. Now, there is the tough part also. But the way I explained it, I'm sure you would agree this would work. But to make it work, there are some difficult parts that we need to take care of. We need to be able to calculate the driver frequency in deep space, or the harmonic oscillator frequency of the deep space field, for which we need a completely new theory of physics, which Automatsky already has and a couple of people outside the mainstream academia already are toying with. The deep space driver frequency is also going to change slowly as we move around deep space. So from point to point. So we need hardware to calculate it because we have to synchronize with it, right? So we need to estimate it in some fashion and synchronize with it. The only problem is such hardware for detecting and calculating such frequencies uh, are 4 square kilometers in size. So we can't obviously put such hardware on a spaceship. We need hardware to control the engines, which are the target harmonic oscillators. And we need hardware to synchronize the engines with the drivers. We need exotic materials and nano manufacturing techniques for the engines, detectors, and controllers. The driver is going to be at an angle to the spaceship. So we will need to travel in a slightly curvilinear path. We'll need route planning at very high speeds, computational power to plan the routes at very high speeds, avoid obstacles, maneuver, etc., without killing all the passengers on board. Now, it's been 30 years. There are other people in the world who are trying to figure out this idea, but Automaski simulated and proved all this 25 to 30 years ago. We had put it right in front of everyone's face, right on our website. Yet we have, as mankind, literally wasted 25 to 30 years. We are getting old. We have no energy. We are on the verge of retiring. We don't want to spend another 20 to 50 years to develop interstellar travel. Fuck space. But we can use this to generate infinite clean energy right here on Earth, on our planet. We think that's the best use of this technology and theory for now. If we achieve that in 20 to 50 years, mankind would become invincible. You might not want to believe it, but either way, this is the way it is, and it is not going to change. Congratulations and enjoy. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Thank you and hope you have a nice day.